In 1851, London was a city of brick, stone, and soot. It was the height of the Industrial Revolution, but architecture was still stuck in a cycle of heavy stone and dark, cramped rooms. It was gloomy. Then, in the middle of Hyde Park, something appeared that seemed to belong to another world. It was a building made almost entirely of glass and iron, so massive it could enclose full-grown elm trees. They called it the Crystal Palace. In this video, I'm using AI to reconstruct the original 1851 exhibition and its later life in Sydenham, allowing us to step inside a masterpiece that hasn't existed for nearly a century. The building was the brainchild of Joseph Paxton. Interestingly, he wasn't even a professional architect, he was a gardener. He based the design on his experience building giant greenhouses for tropical lilies. At the time, people were terrified it would fall over. They thought the wind would shatter the glass, or the heat would bake the visitors alive. But Paxton was a genius of modular construction. Using prefabricated parts, he and 5,000 laborers put the entire structure up in just 19 weeks. It was so big, you could fit 6 football pitches inside and still have room for the trees. It was, quite literally, the first truly modern building in history. Imagine stepping inside. This was the great exhibition of the works of industry of all nations. The first true World's Fair. The glass hall glittered in the sunlight like something out of the Arabian Nights. Inside, there were 100,000 objects from around the globe. You could see the legendary Koh-i-Noor diamond, which actually disappointed visitors for being dull until Prince Albert installed special lamps and mirrors to make it sparkle. You'd pass massive steam engines, rare Chinese ivory, and even the world's first public flushing toilets, which cost a penny to use, leading to the famous British phrase, "to spend a penny." Over 800,000 people paid for that privilege, but the star was the building itself, over 1,800 feet long. Because it was glass, the light inside was unlike anything Victorians had ever seen. Vast, strange, and impossible to describe. Prince Albert's vision was a success. Over 6 million people, 1/3 of the British population, visited, including A-listers like Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, and Charlotte Bronte. When the exhibition ended, the palace didn't just vanish. It was moved to Sydenham Hill and rebuilt on an even grander scale, becoming the world's first true theme park. The grounds featured the famous Crystal Palace Dinosaurs, life-size sculptures that were the first ever attempt to reconstruct prehistoric life. The sculptor, Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins, actually held a New Year's Eve dinner for 20 scientists inside the belly of an unfinished iguanodon. And the best part? They're still there, headless, mossy, and slightly anatomically incorrect, but a permanent ghost of the Victorian imagination. AI allows us to see the palace at its peak, surrounded by fountains that shot water 250 feet into the air. But on November 30th, 1936, the dream ended. A small fire started in a cloakroom and, fueled by dry wooden floors, became an unstoppable chimney of flame. 100,000 people stood on the hills and watched the sky turn blood red. The glare was visible 80 miles away. Pilots crossing the English Channel could see the glow. Eyewitnesses described the terrifying sound of molten glass bubbling and squeaking down the street gutters. The fire was so intense, it actually melted the massive iron girders. Winston Churchill, standing in the crowd that night, famously said, "This is the end of an age." Today, all that remains of the glass miracle are these stone terraces and the headless statues that line the hills of Crystal Palace Park. Sometimes I wish I could step back and experience this place as it once was, just for a single day, to feel that strange, vast light through the glass. For now, I guess, this AI reconstruction is as close as I can come to that dream. If there's another lost landmark, another city, or a moment in history you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know in the comments. I'd love to keep building this journey into the past with you. If you enjoyed this trip back to 1851, please do hit the like button and subscribe for more. Again, thank you so much for watching.